Thank you so much, Zeke. And here we are. We see the spread out on the map. And right away, you can see, I'm trying to see where Aqua is, if he has any friends nearby. Looks like there is at least one or two players who are lurking, but he is relatively uncontested. Not exactly sure where Janice has been dropping or if he altered his drop spot going through, so want to hop on board with them whenever we get the opportunity to. But pretty decent spread, not too many early game fights. Initially, we've seen how players really prioritize kind of getting those uncontested areas, and boom, yep, there's Aqua right north of Craggy and going around his usual fishing route. So nothing out of the ordinary for him. He's stuck to the usual game plan, but he's really been kind of unbothered on this, so not too surprised to see that happening.
And this is what he needs. He needs his normal start where he can get his loot, not have to worry about that. Does have the harpoon to get those fish. So Aqua, and things in motion. The ball is rolling. It is in his court to catch up to Janice. And Janice, with that lead, all he has to do is survive. He doesn't need to go for elimination. He doesn't need to play aggressive at any point in this game, except for in that end game, in the minute and end game, right? That's when he needs it. That's when he needs to start making the moves to secure the victory. Because if he's too passive, Aqua could overtake him.
I think, honestly, if I'm him, I am staring, and I mean absolutely staring at the elimination feed the entire game. Because if I don't see one of those top 4 players, their name popping up in there repeatedly, like gaining eliminations, then I'm not fighting anyone. I am playing as absolutely as passive as possible. I see other players going down as long as I'm not threatened by Storm Surge, which hasn't really been a thing. I don't think we've actually seen it come through and detonate once the entire time in EU. We've just had the warnings. Then you're not going to be threatened. You have the lead. The onus is on them to do it. If you see their names go down, even more so. I'm not fighting absolutely anyone. And then at some point you might be able to even just chalk it up and call it, hey, that's a good day. I can do whatever I want. I mean, we kind of saw that with Booga in the World Cup final when he did end up going down in 6th, but there's a moment there kind of in the top 15 where he sat back and he was like, oh, wow, that was nice. I think I just won this thing.
And that is what most players in first hope, is to see their competition go out with a fight at the top as we move over here to Sweets, who's about to engage in a fight. Actually, he'll hold a little bit here, the mouse button discipline here for him, being very, 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 very patient. I don't think this is something I could do. I would have switched to that RPG and made something happen, as now that's what he's going to do. He's going to try to scoot his way through, not trying to make any sudden movements, and then all of a sudden, I think he thought this player found him, but they still didn't know he was there until right then. Shots going through. He's going to challenge a heavy sniper. He does get the shield tag. RPG into C4 combo being used. Continued pressure here from XWeeze. We'll see if he is able to capitalize on this elimination as more RPGs going through. Shotgun shot going to follow up, but it did not connect. AR spray going to be used with this rare AR not doing that much for him. This player making it through. We do want to point out Mongrel is getting an elimination in the feed there. Insar getting taken down as XWeeze taking a very risky heal there in the bush.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think you give up high ground in that regard, particularly without a spray weapon. Like, yes, the blue AR is strong here, but you're not really going to be able to get through some of that brick off of the start. There is a little bit of a third-party help coming in, but giving up the high ground advantage when you have rockets and only a great pump, you better be cleaning up that fight right away. Even with the 266 tags, he's almost on the back foot, follows it up with 333s, has to know this player is low, and Martin honestly felt like it was a little bit of yeah, this one's over. I'm just kind of going to go for broke. Hopefully I can get the shot. But gifting it all over there to XSqueeze as he's going to take the rest of the loot. And honestly, he desperately needed that. That was a tough situation for both of those players to get in.
It was indeed. And speaking of tough situations, we got Mitra, who's in the water and cannot build right here. A little bit too deep is Putrick. Going to get a lot of damage off there as we see tags going down. We do know that Lecce went down 96. That is such a big thing. 4th place is out of the tournament for getting to 1st. So this is going to be where you start to see Aqua, Wolfies, and Janice make a little bit different of a play as Micho getting the high ground, getting a lot of damage off as well. Continued pressure here from him. He's going to go an SMG on through, and the mobile player named Putrick is not able to make it happen.
And is not actually a mobile player, for anybody who's wondering. He just swapped his name to that. Micho, though, giving him a nice little default dance, as Dr. Lupo would say. Ba-ba-ba-da-da! But now we have Janice over here at the agency. just kind of swimming around. Needs to be careful here. Again, this is one of the areas when you're in a little bit of the deeper water. Kind of building can be a little bit difficult here. But Janus at 243. He knows that Letchi is down. He just needs to play safe. He wants to avoid absolutely everyone, and you can see him doing that right now. What is he doing? We talked about Mr. Savage being so good about doing this. You head dead center of the zone. Why do you head to the center of the zone? Because for the first 4 circles until we get to the 5th, the half in, half out, the safe zone will always be inside the previous safe zone. That means the more central you are, the more likely you are to pull the zone. And with Janus just hitting the first round of placement points there, all he is concerned about is being in this game for as long as possible. And he also finds a nice little elite chest there in a cabin by the docks.
Does, as Alpha was right behind him. I was getting worried for a moment something was going to happen. And speaking of getting worried here, I'm worried about Wolfies because he takes a lot of damage right there. We'll see if he's going to be able to turn it back and get these eliminations. We do see 140 effective HP. Those shots going to come through. He's turning it back. He's going aggressive. And this is where Wolfies operate so very well. Edit's coming through. He's trying to put the pressure. You see the layers, the angle control here from him is so good. We see this every single time. Anytime he's in a fight, he follows the players so well. Third party coming in, though, going to disrupt this fight just a little bit. Allow a little bit of a reset there for both players, Wolfies and whomever he is fighting, as they're both trying to get shields. You see immediate pop of the minion going in. He knows that player has to pop the big shield. Trying to phase on through the ramp. Not going to be broken. It is going to be edited. Nice block there from Wolfies. A little bit of a misplay from the opponent. Wolfies owning this side. He is controlling the aggression here. He's controlling how this is working. As you see, continued pressure. Box to box to box. Nice pump shotgun tag there. Wolfies was looking scary for a moment, and now it's scary for the enemy player. Wolfies continuing this pressure forward. We'll see. He's going to be able to find that last little shot here as he's found the player out. He knows where he is, and you see not going into the box, going up and around so very well. Is in the box now, trying to get on through, trying to keep the pressure up. Player is going to go down here. Wolfies is going to get the elimination there to Kylie. There was no way he was going to let that one slip through.
Breaking the 200 mark, desperately doing everything he can to close the gap, but we know every single one of those fights is that much riskier, as we have Mitro and Mongol just desperately off the side here. Mitro hits a couple tags onto him. We'll see if he decides to chase the young phased lord. You can see him opting to just disengage right now. Sweaty Sands being a really awkward place to fight. Particularly, I just feel in general, there's big changes in elevation here, but Lenuf gets kind of caught, not exactly sure what was going on there. Looks like he was looting or caught in an edit, but Mitro dropping the default dance on him again, letting him know, hey, what's up, but trying everything he can to climb himself up to a little bit of a higher pay threshold, as Sebi will go down there as well. And we're closing in, I don't want to say we're closing in on the next placement threshold, but I anticipate during this next rotation we'll see a decent number of players go down, as a number of them have to move, and players are getting fast and loose with the fights right now.
They are indeed, and speaking of that, we see Anas in a very critical situation here. This is another fight he is taking in the mid game that he's been aggressed upon. He's turning the offense back onto the player, though. He really needs to win this fight. If not, his tournament hopes are done. He is going to not be happy with it. The shots come through. He is going to get third party. Anas is out. He was doing so well, and then unfortunately falling there. He was in 12th going into that game, so gonna sit there for a while and wait, as Seventor going to be the one that takes him down.
With a nice little elim from him there. Seventor been relatively quiet today. We've seen him actually on the end of most of those other elims. Him and Cartooner in the fight. We do have Wolfies over here against Airwalks, the competitive veteran, the pro in so many other games, looking to end the Young Brits run here. Wolfies from XL trying to do everything he can, again, to catch up to Mr. Consistent. Janus right there, a good 59 tag through the edited wall. Puts him back on his feet. But however, Wolfies needs to be careful. Still only sitting at that 105 effective HP, recognizing that, opting to disengage for a second. Not sure if he recognizes his airwalks here, but one thing I'm starting to recognize a little bit about Wolfies too, that's honestly making me less confident in his ability to catch up. He's not resolving any of these box fights quickly. He's not really just getting in and kind of having them, and as we get later on in the game, the slower you are to resolve a fight, the more likely somebody else is going to come in and do something to alter your ability to win it. However, he is doing a good job making sure he's going through, recycling through whatever material is possible, but he still really needs a refresher here.
He does, and that's why he's going into this area onto the player. The box fight could come through here for Wolfies. He's putting that pressure down with the AR. For now, we'll see if he's going to get up close and personal where he likes to take the fight. Trying to find any edits does not see any, so he doesn't get any information to go off of. He doesn't get that moment to pounce, and yet he's still going for it. That's the information he needed. The wall being broken, that player baiting him out essentially knew that was going to cause Wolfies to come in. Shots going to come through. They're going to be broken. Wall not going to be taken, though. Wolfies continuing the pressure. They're trying to find this player out. Stair is Wolfies. Wolfies going in shotgun. Shot going to break the ramp, and that's going to be Airwalks eliminated there by Wolfies, and Wolfies could be putting on the run we may need to see for him to become the FNCS Invitational Champion.
Pushing up to 206 now. Again, all eyes on Wolfie, Aqua, and Janice. Those are the top three right now. Again, Janice has been the wire-to-wire winner. Andelix currently sitting in fourth. We saw Lecce end up going down. His run and day are completely over. Thomas HD in sixth, just on the outside looking in, but haven't really seen him pop off. Did see a nice little stat come up on the timeline that 60-plus point games in Europe have occurred in 0.36% of the games. So rooting for anyone who really isn't Aqua to be able to overtake is going to be incredibly difficult, if not a statistical anomaly. However, we've seen in the final moments that statistical anomalies happen all the time in Fortnite, and Thomas HD could end up being a part of that. Does have a decent enabling kit. Again, we talk about him prioritizing that heavy sniper and it really being an enabling factor for his game. We see Wolfies, Skale, Andalex over on the side, Blackie, Queasy, Kaiser also still in the lobby. Everyone just kind of hanging out. You see in the bottom right-hand corner, 4 seconds left on that next zone, so expect a solid amount of movement to come out once it's revealed, and we're going to have a decent amount of action happening kind of in this southeast pocket. Lots of players all going to be rotating right through the edge of the woods out into an open clearing.
And that's really good for Thomas because he needs the miracle to happen. Is a snipe going to come through? He does hit it, and we talked about his snipes, and he said, you know what, I'm going to give you one right there. Scully going down on rotation. Thomas looking to put together the miracle, looking to put the run together. He said, you know what, I need a 60-point game. I'm going to try to get one.
And that's really, like, you have to get picks like that. We talk about how Fortnite is a game of kind of managing your RNG, managing your loadout, getting everything you can, but it also comes down to having the ability to get picks, having the ability to catch a player in a rotation. Put yourself in a spot where you're looking for those picks, which is something Thomas does absurdly well. If you're looking to how to get better at your angles, two players I encourage you to watch in Europe would be Stompy in terms of his rifle angles in mid to late game rotation, and then watch Thomas over the course of the game and how he takes sight lines to prioritize his ability to catch people out. As Sweeze ends up dropping Swaggy there, carried by Kuna, not being able to get carried by Kuna in solos, just going down. I think that's the second time we've seen him catch a heavy sniper bullet to the face today, so tough day for him.
Day going down there, but still a great day nonetheless as we swap over here to see where Wolfies is again. He is one of the people that we have to keep our eye on. Is starting to turn online. 206 points. Nate gonna go down. Big name getting eliminated there in the feed as we see Wolfies on the edge of zone. Has made the rotation. Does have a cheeky little jump into this player's builds if he wants to. He could get aggressive, and that's not something I would not put by Wolfies. He sees another player down below. He's gonna make the jump onto someone else. Shots coming in through it. Artor gets caught from above, and Wolfies putting another elimination in his pocket. Now moving up to 210 points.
Let's go, Wolfies. That's what I'm saying. We've talked about it kind of sticking to your game plan. He wants to be aggressive. He gets most of his points from eliminations. You're not going to then turn around and drop a 60-point game by only playing for the late game. If he's able to string it all together, he could potentially challenge upward. But again, it's still all eyes on Janice and Aqua and whether or not they're able to just stay in this lobby. Andelix, again, currently sitting right around that top 5 as well, just trying to rotate in on the zone, right on the edge, but also starting to hurt on mats, rotating through almost all of his brick just to get this cheap little 1x2. So if he gets chosen here as the explodes end up coming in, this could be really awkward really fast. Another player comes in. Kaiser ends up going down. Great reaction shot there from Andalex. Going to have a ton of builds left over now because that other player falling down, but he needs to expand and build out and get away from this lobby choosing. Otherwise, it could be the end of his invitational, and he's also not quite in the zone. Benji ends up tagging him out. He gets the last pick for it, and Andalex goes down outside of the top 50. His run is over. Another challenger to Giannis's throne goes down. It is Wolfies Aqua and Janice. Everyone else is just playing catch up as now we hop on board here with Aqua, trying to get a little peek, rotating through now. This could get awkward, but he's just right on the back of this player, not really looking to take a fight at this point. We've seen, again, we've talked about when he's successful, it's going for height, kind of in those 6 and 7 zone potentials. However, he catches a 3 quick tag in the back, 33, 33, 33, dropping him down to 101. Oh no, the lobby choosing, coming in, 76 HP coming out from Aqua, and he goes down! Tayssir takes out the duo world champion. Aqua, the biggest challenger to Janice, has fallen, and now it is all on the young lord from the Britain trying to get out Wolfies. Can he close out, or will Janice be the one to take it away? Mr. Consistent, who has made nearly every single endgame, stands nearly alone with only the young wolf trying to challenge towards the top. CRR doing everything he can to get every elimination as we head in towards Holly Hedges. Game number 6 of the day. Game number 12 overall. The EU FNCS Invitational Grand Finals are coming down to this, and whether or not Janice can hold off the charge from Wolfies.
And in a 100-player lobby, this is a 2-man individual race right here. It is Janice, it is Wolfies. They are vying for elimination points, placement points, so every second that Janice stays alive, every opportunity that he has to stay alive, like CR not letting that player do as he's going aggressive into the box, Tyler going down, back to Janice and Wolfies. That is the point. They are in this game together. If Wolfies surpasses him in placement, surpasses him in eliminations, it could be his, but right now Janice has a very, very big lead that Wolfies is going to need to play out of his mind to overcome, to surpass him. As we get a nice look at the lobby, we'll see. You see big names there. Cammy there as well. Moki getting elimination. But this game, this is it. The tension is building. Wolfies, Janice, who is going to come out on top?
And right now here on board with Cammy on the low ground, watching this entire stack side of Holly Hedge, the next 50-50 zone. Not a single player is pulled in that zone. Every single player has to rotate in. One player does have a nice little hop and skip, but everyone else is going to be sprinting into that open space across. We're going to see a number of players go down here in the rotation, and make sure you're keeping an eye in that top left corner. If Wolfies goes down, that is it. But if he starts racking up the eliminations, Janice could start to sweat. Again, it all comes down to this. This is the final game in EU. It's all on the line here. Who walks away with the $120,000 grand prize, and who walks away saying they are the best solo player? Chapter 2, Season 2 in Europe. That is a huge title to be taking away. As you see Cammy with a nice little rotation right along the edge of the hedge, desperately trying to rotate into the zone along these old builds, and honestly doing a good job of breaking up the sight lens here. You can see him thinking about trying to pull out a nice little quick scope, but not going to happen there as he gets into the safety of the zone and starts swapping over to hard mats.
And you'll see him now start to look back towards players to try to get any eliminations that he can. 39 players, and it's dropping pretty quickly. 2 more players going down. Left eye getting elimination. Rezon getting an elimination there. Pink going down here to Cammy. What a nice catch there by them. As you see, now starting to get the match that they need to make this in-game possible, to make their climb towards that upper echelon. They're not going to get first. There's not a mathematical chance for them. They need about 100 points, and there's no way they can get it as placement points already being divvied out. They need to eliminate almost the entire lobby. I want to point out, Wolfies in your middle of your screen is alive. Looking to see, is Janice there? We did not see him go down. Tayssir there as well. As we hop on board here with Wolfies, the player trying to dethrone Janice, who has been on top almost the entire day. This is going to be very, very close.
He knows the amount of points he has to get. He knows it's got to be elimination heavy, and he's been pressing forward this entire game. He's been pressing forward this entire tournament. And also, don't forget, just because someone else is going down in that regard, all of these other pages we've seen, you get pay bumps moving up different thresholds. All of these other interactions are not only for pride and being able to say, hey, I took down this other player, but you can move up another tier. We've seen huge last-minute games, Crew at the World Cup going from 66 to 6 in a single game. Players are able to make fantastic runs, but right now it's about the top 2. Wolfies looking desperately to try and push into the box here. Not going to be able to find it. Does not have the SMG that is so typical of players desperately trying to push in a box. However, he's hawking the backside here, not going to find the pump as the player does close it off, and he also needs to start being aware of his lowering builds. Down to 65 player in his box. This could be the end of it, but Wolfie says no, it's not the end. Sundown cleans up another elim, pushes him up to number 4, and then immediate launch pads out, says I got to get out of dodge, wants nothing to do with that situation, not taking the 50-50. Another fantastic disengage from Wolfie's, the second one we've seen this game, to get him out, get him reset, and keep the hopes of a dream alive. Finds the launch pad, knows somebody else set up a low pad, not quite going to find it, but does still have 2 floppers to be able to go off on the backside. Needs to be careful getting caught here. Looking for a pick, last of his floppers, so it's all down to it. 70 HP, 28 HP for him, 18 HP in a dream. Wolfie's, will he be able to find it? He has to find a refresher. He only has the mini pot, and if he's not able to pick up something here, it's the end. He pushes forward, he gets one, Fanta goes down, and Fanta had picked up Queasy right before, so he gets all the mats from that. Wolfie's pushing into the top 20, trying to find the zone, and he turns around and he gets Frey, and not only does he get Frey, he gets a pair of floppers, but no other mobility. Has another stack there, but he has to find a launch pad. If he's not able to get in the zone, Janus will be the king of the Europe. He finds the shots in the zone, but the player covers up. 18 HP, 6 HP. He gets the siphon right in time for it to convert over. Desperately looking for any amount of floppers, but he can't find it. Wolfies does everything he can, but 13th place in 7 eliminations is not enough. Janus goes down in the top 10, but he'll go down a champion as our final lobby will now finally close out. Flikk on the high ground, Kinzel on the middle. We got FaZe Mongrel also in there, a who's who of top EU players, but in terms of who is who today, it is all about Wave Janus.
And Janus coming through, 254 points was enough. That is it. Whoever ends up winning this is just looking to get more money and get to that top placement. But Janus is your victor, is your FNCS European Invitational champion, as we see Mongrel trying to get a game going in his favor. Does have floppers, does have the ability to make the play. His shots will come through momentarily here for him. He is not going to connect there on the critical one. Getting dropped down, doesn't have a lot of builds. Nice shot there, 100 damage, but he gets tagged up for a lot. No more floppers to make it happy. His hand going to take him down. We'll see if Flikk and 4ZR ahead can get to the top. Is Flikk going to go down? We haven't seen much of him, but 184 points means that he's up near the top of the leaderboard. Does have the Mythic AR and the Grappler to make a play. Nice builds, but he doesn't have a lot remaining. You hear the builds being broken, shotgun shots being taken. Flikk not losing a lot of HP. Door headed in, and that's going to be the victory royale there for Flikk with 4 eliminations.
Come on, Hen, haven't you ever heard of closing the gosh darn door? Flikk will take advantage of that every single time, but a fantastic final game. The Wave counterpart closing it out just as Janus was able to close out the entire region. We're going to toss it on over to Zeke, who will take it away for us.
Janus held it down, 254 points. Your FNCS Invitational champion.
I mean, Mr. Consistent, we talked about it over the course of the 12 games. He, in the final game as well, getting top 10, not rolling off an elimination, but the fact that 3 of the 12 games he was outside of the top 15, and almost every single one of those top 15s, he was top 10. Like, that's ridiculous over the course, particularly in this region. But let's also not discount Flikk there right at the end, charging, like absolutely charging up the leaderboard, ended up with 195 points, putting himself into 6th. A great performance. Thomas HD on the day also played great. Wolfies with the monumental run at the end and a couple shots going his way, could have ended up doing it. As we switch on over to the next page, we see the top 20 rounded out. Cammy, 4ZR, CRR, Raison, Mr. Savage, Anos, Milan, Mitro, Amplify, and Airwalks. I mean, a who's who of some of the best players in Europe right there.
As we move over, we'll see another big page, 26 being Mongrel there. You see Slick, Snappy, Dolly there as well. All these players getting a good amount of money for just making it here to the finals and placing in that top tier of players. We see Chapix, we see Moraine, we see Maestro, we see Drobin. A lot of big plays happen throughout the day. And again, if you just tuned in for some odd reason, Janus did take home the victory, the overall victory of Europe. First place there for him. Absolutely insane. As we move over to the next page, you'll see iDrop, Sebi, Blazin, Frey, Tiago, and Norwood there in 49th.
And I mean, just brilliant performances coming out from all of them there. And you see, as we continue going through just tons of players, I really want to underscore the fact that, like, every one of these players is capable of placing anywhere on this leaderboard. It all comes down to consistency, mentality, and who's having a better weekend. Sometimes it's just things aren't rolling your way, so you don't want to discount the efforts of some of these phenomenal players. They went through such a grueling process to even get here and be invited to make an FNCS Grand Final or to make it through Opens and qualify through for some of these players. That's a ton of effort. It's a ton of solo gameplay, and it really shows a solid amount of resilience to be able to get there. But also, at the end of the day, you have to applaud the level of consistency coming out of Janice